Okay, it is Friday. That means we have a panel put together to talk about things in the community here. And United Way, our United Way panel this week is going to be about volunteerism. How do we do it? Where do we start? I want to help. How do I help? In the midst of what we got going on across the country, across the world, really. How can we help here in the Black Hills? So we have an excellent panel put together today. Now I'm just going to go around and quickly get everyone introduced, talk a little bit about the organization that you are with, and we'll get things started. So Audrey, Nordine, let's start with you.
Hi, I'm Audrey Nordine. I am with Helpline Center. We house the 211 number, and we also work with Volunteer Connections. So I'm excited to be here and talk more about United Way Month of Caring.
Yes, for those of you that don't know, it is a month of caring this month. So that way you now have the time to put together resources and whatever you need to in order to give back to the community. Aren't able to put it into a single day, but we get an entire month to do it now. So that's an exciting thing. Miss Mary Sheldon.
Hi, I am from Great Western Bank, and we are also very excited. We've got the largest team we've ever had working with the Month of Caring, and are continuing to look for opportunities to volunteer and help in the community.
Mary, thank you. We are excited to have you here to be on this panel. Audrea, let's go right to you.
Hi, I'm Audrey. I'm with United Way of the Black Hills. And yes, this month is our month of caring, and we're really excited to kind of share some volunteer opportunities. And, you know, with everything going on right now, folks have had to get really unique with the ways they volunteer in their communities and give back. So we're really excited to have this panel to really share some of those type of unique volunteer opportunities, what some organizations, what their opportunities are that are available, and also some businesses like Great Western Bank and kind of some of the fun little unique volunteer opportunities that they're doing, and just sharing, kind of idea sharing, and showing that, you know, even if we are all kind of being a little bit separate right now, we are all still together and we're united, and we're all here to help each other in our community, and there's always a way to pick up a hand and help somebody.
Audrey, thank you. Molly, let's go right with you. Vitalant, Rapid City.
Hi, my name is Molly Barari, and I am a donor recruitment representative over at Vitalant, formerly United Blood Services. We are located at 2209 West Omaha Street here in Rapid City, and we collect whole blood, platelets, and plasma. Thank you for inviting me to be on the panel.
Yeah, obviously very important during this time that we're around, because folks that usually volunteer have not been able to over the last couple of months, but the need is still there. In fact, the need is growing with things going on like the wildfires out west. We have hurricanes in the Gulf. These are all things that we have to consider as we're moving forward here. So Molly, we really appreciate you being here representing the local community. So Audrey, I'm going to skip right to you. We're going to get right to it. I want to volunteer. I don't even know where to start. Where am I going? Where should I start?
So I assume you mean Audrey Nordine with 211.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
So we house a program called Volunteer Connections. And what that is it creates a link between people that want to volunteer and the nonprofits that need them. So we house and maintain a database that houses about hundreds of opportunities for a couple different communities, a few that are East River, but specifically in the Black Hills, we serve the 6 major counties and about 300 nonprofits that are posting their opportunities. So opportunities that are one time, maybe it's an event, or ongoing, because we still have organizations that are needing ongoing support, such as Vitalant, needing groups and individuals willing to spend a couple hours, not even, I'm sure, to give of blood. And as we've seen fall kind of unfold and being in September, we do have a lot of nonprofits that are hosting events in a safe manner, and also looking for volunteers to help contribute and help kind of the show go on within those organizations.
Audrey, thank you. Yeah, so that's a great place to start. It's like, I want to volunteer. I'm not even sure what I can do. I just know I want to help in some way. And 201 is a great way to connect to the different nonprofits, all the different nonprofits right here in the Black Hills region. So thank you for that. Mary, I wanted to talk to you about Great Western Bank and kind of what that process of volunteerism or giving back to the community has looked like over the last couple of months, and what direction you guys are going.
Sure. Of course, over the last couple of months with COVID, we've had some staffing situations, but things that Great Western Bank continues to do, we have a Making Life Great grant that nonprofits can apply for. Our staffing, again, we encourage them. We've got people who are involved in different nonprofits, different organizations. Our company does do the employee giving program. They also have provided VTO, volunteer time off. So the company as a whole really supports it. And so what we're trying to do is things that we can do that don't put our employees at risk, but yet give back to the communities. So with United Way, we're coordinating, of course, the sidewalk chalk messages. I've got 18 team members that are playing with that. But in addition, the people that don't get out and see the sidewalks are homebound people. We're going to take it a step further. And those same messages we're going to put on handwritten cards in fun colors and connect with agencies that service homebound individuals and get that done. It's a safe way to reach a lot of people.
Mary, thank you. Yeah, it's important to at least have some sort of outlet to give back to the community. And it sounds like Great Western Bank is kind of branching out, finding different ways to make that happen. Audrea, I wanted to go and talk a little bit about the United Way of the Black Hills and what this transition has been like for you guys. Obviously, you guys are hands-on in the community, so this has been an interesting transition. Can you tell me a little bit about some of the volunteering that's been going on and what that kind of looks like nowadays?
Yeah, so, our month of caring is traditionally our day of caring that we have all throughout the Black Hills. Everybody gathers in a large room and we all kind of celebrate the spirit of volunteerism and giving back in the community. And then we all disperse to our project sites and pick up a paintbrush and a hammer and kind of do some work in our community. But as we've mentioned, that's just not nearly as feasible as it has been in the past, with folks getting together and gathering. But we also recognize that now more than ever, volunteerism is so important in connecting with our community members and just, as simple as giving some uplifting messages to those in need. So instead of a day where we kind of get everybody pushed and shoved into one day, we're moving that to a month. And really what the hope there is for folks to be really flexible and being able to complete projects that work in their timeline. Much like Mary mentioned with Great Western Bank, there are a lot of businesses right now that are kind of doing some really unique projects that they can give back to certain organizations that they can do in their own time. There's a Monument Health down in Custer. They're doing food boxes for Meals on Wheels. And then there's also Spearfish middle school students. They're going to be also doing handwritten cards for folks in the nursing home, just to give them an uplifting message. And, it really is just as simple as kind of starting at home in your neighborhood and seeing who really needs help in your community. And that really helps as United Way and what we do as an organization, which is to help people succeed. And that's through financial stability, access to health and opportunities like that. And so, if when you're volunteering, you really understand what the needs are in your community and how you can help with that.
And Audrey, what I'm listening to you say is that despite the fact, and this is a no-brainer, but it needs to be said regardless, despite the fact that we're in a pandemic, there are folks that still are in need of these services, and this kind of volunteerism is still needed to maintain the community and the folks that live in it. So making sure that we're being creative with the way that we're volunteering sounds like a goal of United Way going into even now into the fall months here.
Yes, that's correct. And, there'll be some more opportunities that we'll be sharing with our panel. I know with Molly, she's kind of doing stuff with donating blood, which is really big right now. I mean, if you're somebody who doesn't maybe feel comfortable being in a group of people volunteering, that's a great way to give back to your community. And if you are in a situation where you can't physically go out, maybe volunteer, or maybe, you just don't have the time to sit down and write those letters, that's fine too. That's where donations are very important too, because we know some organizations right now, some of their volunteer opportunities are a little bit limited because of the people they serve, and trying to make sure that they're also protecting the health of the people that they serve. So, when you're making a donation, you know that you're still helping those folks in the community too.
Audrey, thank you. And I want to go straight to Molly here because we already have a couple of questions regarding Vitalant. And what I want to start with is, let's say I'm healthy. I'm displaying no symptoms of COVID-19. I really want to give blood, but I'm a little bit nervous. I'm not sure about the process. Where would I start if I want to donate?
That's a great question. So Vitalant is definitely committed to upholding the highest safety standards right now. We always have safety protocol, but especially now during the pandemic, facial coverings are required of everyone who comes inside the building, as well as temperature checks for staff and donors. So we also sanitize every donor bed regularly. We make sure it's a very pristine and clean facility so that everyone is comfortable. And we do encourage appointments right now for blood donations. However, we do accept walk-ins 7 days a week. And right now we are looking for all blood types. We do have a need for having all blood types on the shelves on a regular basis. I think what people often don't realize about blood donation is that most blood products are used for routine procedures. So when you go into the hospital, it's actually the fourth most common inpatient hospital procedure is a blood transfusion. So it's very common to need a blood transfusion. That's why we need blood products on the shelves consistently to make sure that those are replenished. So it's a great way to come out and volunteer, and you know that your time is going to a great cause.
And beyond that, I mean, you're talking about, I've given blood with Vitalant, and you're talking about a facility that's already ready to be sanitized, who's ready for something like this. I mean, you guys already had safe practices, so you guys are trained for this kind of thing, making sure that you're working in a clean environment, in a pristine environment. So, you guys are veterans at this. Yeah, you guys are veterans at this, so make sure you're going in and donating because the need hasn't gone away. But the people that usually,
And when we have a pandemic, a global pandemic, or a natural disaster, or a mass shooting, that is in addition to our everyday blood needs. So it just elevates the need. That's why we really seek community support in a time like this.
Molly, thank you so much, basically for that insight here. So if you're having trepidations about giving blood, as long as you're healthy, make sure you're healthy. But if you're healthy, make an appointment, get it done. Folks need it. We need the blood donations to continue. I wanted to bring up Facebook here. We still have more questions coming in. So Dulcie Davenport says, loves the idea of handwritten cards with encouraging messages. So she said, we might steal that idea in Custer. So there's a lot of great ways that you can be volunteering. And I wanted to go back to Audrey with 211 and kind of talk about what kind of calls have you guys been receiving lately? Have there been requests for how to volunteer, or what kind of requests are coming in over the last couple months here about, what are some of the trepidations or questions people might have regarding volunteerism around the Black Hills?
Sure. Much like Mary's situation, we have a lot of corporations and businesses that are reaching out, which came at a good time about the May-June timeframe. We knew Month of Caring was coming up, so we would refer people to sign up for the United Way Month of Caring and giving them ideas for projects. So a lot of our volunteers that have been calling have been group related or business related, because they're looking to get their staff in a good mental health space, as well as, you know, these times have been really challenging to figure out staff schedules and making sure just checking in with people, maybe not how you regularly would. So having an outlet for giving back, volunteering, donating has been a really common call or contact that we've had at 211 in the Black Hills.
Okay, so you guys are already with the ball game on this. If you have questions, 211 is the place to go, at least to start. If you're really wanting to get a foundation of where to start, whether you're an individual or a group of people or corporation trying to find a way to help in the local community, 211, great place to start. Sounds like they know what they're talking about. They work here in this community. Make sure you're reaching out to them. Mary, I wanted to go back to Great Western Bank here and kind of talk about what's the game plan moving forward here, or are you guys really focused on trying to make things work today and still going through that process?
So do you mean bank-wise or volunteer-wise? I'm assuming
Volunteer-wise, yeah.
Okay.
Bank-wise, obviously businesses are, trying to figure out how to run well with the COVID-19 going around. But as far as volunteerism as well, because, you guys work in the community, you're here in the community, and you're trying to figure out ways to reach out and to help.
Right. That is something that we continually focus on. We want to encourage our team members. Banks are required to have a good CRA, Community Reinvestment. It's Community Reinvestment Act. We're required to be involved in our communities and do that volunteering. So with my team, we have been looking for different ways to do that, trying to figure out how to make that happen. Having the 211, some of the different agencies with United Way, being on the cabinet is helpful because it brings closer to focus what agencies out there need what type of help. So we try to match it up with whether it's junior achievement or Make-A-Wish, or there's just so many of our team members are involved in their own passionate organizations, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, as well as whatever they can do throughout the community. So it's something that we really encourage, and our company supports it. They've tried to make it as easy as possible for us to be able to do that.
That's really important. I'm glad you brought this up. So working with 211, 211's able to match your organization with the kind of help that you guys can provide to the community and what best matches each company. So even if you're a company, so, maybe you're an individual, or maybe you're a company listening in on this and you're thinking, well, I don't know if my company's really going to be able to, what can I offer? You don't know unless you call 211. They're going to be able to match you with what you guys can do for the local community. And it's needed now more than ever. It's always been needed. Now it's really needed. So pick up the phone, make sure you're making that connection and trying to help out the local community. Audrea, wanted to come back to you real quick. And we had our kickoff to United Way Month of Caring. Tell me a little bit about how that's gone and what we're looking at for the next month here.
Yeah, so we did have our Month of Caring kickoff. As I mentioned, it usually looks like that traditional everybody meet up in one room and then we disperse to our project sites. We decided to go virtual this year, of course, to really focus on the health of our community. And we do have some really cool projects, as I had mentioned, with Spearfish and Monument Health. And then with Great Western Bank, and there are also some other organizations. Northern Hills Federal Credit Union is also doing kind of the talk messaging too. But, one of the important things to note is that the day/month of caring is essentially our kickoff to our campaign season, where we raise over $2 million for our nearly 48 nonprofit agencies here in the Black Hills. And 211 Helpline Center is one of those. So, but we have a variety of different organizations that we provide funding for. And, one of the important things to note is that Month of Caring is really for folks to really get into their communities and understand what the needs are. When you're out there and helping somebody in need, it really helps you understand and relate with what those issues may be in the community and how we can solve those all together. So as United Way of the Black Hills, it's like a really great way to kind of bring everybody together to kind of take this as a problem, a problem solving, critical thinking, and collaborating and seeing how we can solve some of these problems. We did a community needs assessment in 2019 and found that, like mental health services, that's something that's really critical right now. So that's something we are definitely focusing on as an organization, and working with the agencies that we do work with to ensure that folks have access to these sort of resources. So, in addition to volunteerism, really getting involved in some of the bigger community issues is really, really a big part of this as well.
So when we're talking about volunteerism, I'm getting a lot of good questions from our Facebook comment section. What type of volunteerism, what kind of volunteering can someone do at home rather than in a large group? And we're talking about, she asked, sewing masks. Is sewing masks something that can be done? And Audrey, you're nodding your head.
Yeah. So we have, that's actually another common call that we've got is, I have masks that I want to donate. And we actually, through 211, we're an information and referral system. So we're accredited in the whole entire state of South Dakota, can call 211 and get connected to resources and support and listening, while they can also go to helplinecenter.org/masks and find a list of organizations that are accepting mask donations. A couple of which, to no surprise, is Rapid City Area Schools is in a huge need of masks and has put a call out for it. They're on helplinecenter.org/masks, you can put in your name, how many masks you want to donate, and then that organization is sent an email that says Audrey Nordine is going to donate 50 masks, and then that volunteer is also sent an email that says this is where you drop off and here's your contact. So also kind of helping with the health of the community with kind of having a way to volunteer and give back, but with limited exposure to other people. So that's something that we started kind of at the beginning of COVID, but we're seeing those requests come in again.
So we're talking about volunteerism in the physical sense, in the emotional sense. I mean, giving blood, reaching out to the community, even if it's with cards. We're talking about all different levels. And, we're talking with Mary at Great Western Bank about the folks that are doing the volunteering. We're talking with Audrea about how that volunteering is shaping. We're talking with Audrey at 211 about what those requests are looking like. And then we're talking with Molly with Vitalant about what those physical needs, the physical help that is needed on the front lines of this. So whether it's in the physical, the mental, the emotional, there are things that you can do in this community. There's just within this panel. We're only talking to 4 different people right now, but there are countless numbers of nonprofits here in the Black Hills, not in New York City or California, but right here in town that you can help and volunteer for. We're just looking at a quick phone call, 211, to make that happen. I want to quickly get to another question here. Lauren wants to know from Molly, has Vitalant seen an increase in platelet donations, a decrease? What right now, where is there a deficit or is there a strength, or what are we looking at right now as far as needs are concerned?
Well, I think what I'd like to say about that is we consistently have a need for platelets. In particular, those go for cancer patients, open heart surgery patients, other types of situations where we might need platelets in the hospital. We need those on hand consistently. And the problem with that is platelets only have a 7-day shelf life. And the platelet donation process does take a little bit longer. So that's where if you have a couple hours to come in and donate platelets, it can actually be a really good time for you to bring a book or listen to a book on audio, watch a TV program, and just kind of give yourself some me time while you help a patient in need. And I would say that right now, we really are reaching out to potential platelet donors in the community. That is an area where we need some specific help.
Okay, so you're still a rock star if you're donating blood, but boy, you want to be elevated to like super rock star. Talk about platelet donations. That's what we're really needing right now.
Absolutely. Like I said, we always need all the products on the shelves, but we are looking to expand our new platelet donors. So if you are interested and think you might be up for it, come on into our center. What we do is we do a platelet count on you to ensure that you are a good candidate for platelet process. And then once you get the green light, we'll hook you up and you're well on your way to helping someone like a cancer patient at the hospital.
That's awesome. Thank you, Molly. So I just got a very interesting question from Erica. She says, with cooler weather in the forecast, Brant, do you know if there has been a decrease in clothing donations with the pandemic? Are we all of a sudden needing to talk about clothing donations? Is that something that's kind of a complicated subject, I would imagine, because you're talking about clothing coming from someone else and being in contact with someone else. Is there a process, Audrey, that we're going through here, or is there a way that we're trying to do it with the upcoming cooler season here in the Black Hills?
So Helpline Center, we do house on our 211 database a donations tab. So if you go to helplineCenter.org/guided search, you can find places to donate. We certainly see that people are taking clothing donations. I wouldn't necessarily say that we've seen an increase, but it is something that's kind of always been steady and always been a need for organizations, especially those that distribute to individuals that are in our homeless population, and some events that may regularly be happening in the fall timeframe, but we still want to support those individuals. So certainly I'd encourage people, if they, it sounds like you did some spring cleaning or some summer cleaning and had time to do it. So I'd encourage you to check out that donation search on our website and find ways and organizations that can give back. So
Audrey, thank you. Yeah, and this is a call to action from the meteorologist. We are looking at cooler temperatures next week. We're going to have lows in the mid 30s in Rapid City, Monday and Tuesday. We're talking about the possibility of snow in the higher elevations. So yes, and maybe a minor annoyance for everyone else. We kind of roll our eyes, but you're talking about folks that do have to deal with the elements outside. So we want to make sure that we're keeping those folks in mind when we're moving through these cooler periods. And it's a reminder that yes, fall and winter is around the corner, and the volunteerism is going to shift into a slightly different direction when it comes to things like clothing donation, food transport, Meals on Wheels, things of that nature, making sure that we're staying up to date on that and just being very cognizant of what we're looking at moving forward here. So what I wanted to do, this has been awesome. I'm so glad we're talking about this because it's really important to stay on top of this as we're moving into the fall. You can get very emotionally tired of seeing stuff on the news all the time and seeing stuff on social media about the pandemic and everything going on. Stay strong, keep the volunteerism up. There's ways to volunteer still. Audrey is nodding her head. Audrey's nodding her head. Molly and Mary, there are ways that we can keep up the community here. I wanted to give folks just give you guys a chance to kind of any last thoughts about moving forward into the month of September. Any call to action that you guys might have. Audrey, I'll let you start with that.
Sure. So, one important thing to mention is that, yes, Month of Caring is really big. It's a big deal. And especially, like we said, because it really shows, when everybody's working together and we're all seeing it kind of happen in real time, it's really inspiring and it really makes you feel like you're a part of something bigger. But, it goes further than just that 1 month. And, that's where it's really important to always stay in touch with 211 and the type of services and volunteer opportunities that are available throughout the year. And most importantly, volunteerism is very important. It's still one step that you can get involved in your community. When you're really hands-on and you're in the community, you really understand what those needs are. And especially like when you're at like Feeding South Dakota, or you're at the Journey Museum helping them with their lawn care, Care and some of these other really great organizations that we fund as an organization. It really shows you, some of the bigger issues that we are working on as a community to have more accessible mental health services, to have more access to quality food, and just being able to access transportation to get to those medical services, which are all things that we as United Way focus on trying to solve every day. And so, when you are volunteering, you're understanding those needs, and then you can help and be part of a community through donating. And that's one other way that you can definitely help. So I would encourage that as well.
Audrey, thank you so much. If you're feeling, you can get pretty overwhelmed with everything that's going on, and you kind of feel helpless with everything that's going on in the world. I'll tell you what, this is a great way to alleviate that and to kind of really make a difference in what's going on. Maybe the entire planet, maybe you're not out to save the entire planet, but you're willing to change someone's life here in your own community. And I think that's an important message, that you can do something. Audrey with 211, I'll let you have your last call to action here.
Yeah, so for volunteer opportunities, of course, people can call 211, or they can do their own search on our database at volunteer.helplinecenter.org. And we do have a new website now, which it's a lot more easy to navigate and really clean. And you're able to connect with volunteer opportunities in the Black Hills. And then as far as 211, connecting to those donations and then other resources, as Audrey from United Way has mentioned, you can just go to helplinecenter.org and check out our search and our guides. And as always, you can always call 211. We're 24/7, open every single day of the year. So you'll always be able to connect with us no matter the time that you're calling and no matter your need.
Audrey, thank you. Mary, I wanted you to talk a little bit about kind of this call to action. What has volunteerism did for your colleagues? How does that change your lifestyle and your outlook in the community you serve? Does that help you guys know that you're helping out in the community at Great Western Bank?
Sure. I really feel like when you volunteer or lend a helping hand in one form or another, it doesn't have to be a huge, all-time consuming event. It's just, you take the first step. And I think that holds back a lot of people as far as they don't know what to do. And they're afraid, if I take the first step, what if it's more than I can do? My life is so busy right now, I just don't know when I'd find time. But the bottom line is, you find time for what's important. And getting back to the morale and the mental health, nothing makes a person feel better than helping someone else. So it's just reaching out to the agencies that are out there, reaching out to 211. And, my colleagues feel very proud about what they're doing. And we just want to continue to grow and develop that. And again, it's just take that first step, and you know what? You live through it. It works, and you just start getting more passionate about it. And there's a need in almost everything anyone could feel passionate about. You just got to take the first step.
Well, Mary, we're proud of you to have you guys part of our community doing that, and we encourage everyone to step forward to start making that effort because we need it. And I think you can't make that any more clear than somewhere like Vitalant, that even before all this was needing the help, and we still need it even more now today. Molly, I'll let you have your call to action here.
Right, that's a great segue to what I was just going to say. We are asking people who have recovered from COVID-19 to come in and donate their plasma right now. We do have an urgent need for that, and we are trying to work to double the number of convalescent plasma donations that we have in the coming weeks and months. It's really important to have those plasma donations so that scientists can do all the work to see if those can be used for life-saving treatments for people who are hospitalized with COVID-19. So if you have recovered from COVID-19 or know someone who has, please encourage them to come in and give their plasma. And in order to help the public identify who some of those donors might be, we are giving COVID-19 antibody testing. to donors. So anyone who comes in and gives blood right now will have their blood tested for the COVID-19 antibodies to help us identify those potential convalescent plasma donors.
Wow.
So yeah, we have a lot going on in that arena, and we reach out to the community for their help in identifying those potential donors.
Molly?
I have one other thing I wanted to get in there real quick.
Please,
too.
please, yeah.
We are also reaching out to younger donors. We know that nearly 60% of blood donations come from people over 40, and 45% come from people older than 50. So we need those young people, those millennials, to come out and give it a try and see if they can become a regular blood donor too.
Okay, that's my call to action. I got to get in there and do that. That's amazing though. That amazing work going on in Vitalant. So that's a bonus to if you're looking to actually donate and help someone get an antibody test with it. See if you're eligible to really help out, give some plasma, and you'd be an active part of that fight against the pandemic just by showing up, giving some plasma, giving some blood, and getting some cookies afterward. I feel like that's a good.
Everyone gets the cookies.
I feel like that's an excellent trend. I'm all about that. Well, this is not the end of the conversation. This is just the beginning of it. We're going to continue to talk about this. Make sure you are going to NC1.tv to check out all the different resources that are available. We've been having these conversations since earlier in the summer, talking about how you can help when it comes to food donations, when it comes to volunteerism, mental health. All of these different resources are coming together in this one place with these panelists. I want to thank the panelists for taking the time. Audrea, Audrey, Mary, Molly, you guys are important. You're doing good work. We appreciate you. And like I said, this is the beginning of a conversation that's going to continue as long as this pandemic is around. We're going to work on seeing how we can help those in our own community. So with that, happy Friday to everyone. We're going to continue to put resources out. Make sure that you still are commenting in the comment section with your questions, and we will do the best we can to answer those. Be safe out there.